Hey, whippersnappers, it's Tortimer the Gray. Welcome back to another exciting episode of Pokemon Showdown Gray version. Starting off today with a battle against Scad up on the volcano. We lit off with Spock and went up against his Numel, and his Numel went ahead and took out Spock with no trouble. But we did get the rocks up, so that worked out pretty nicely. And then I brought Fumzy in to try and neuter the Numel with Clear Smog, but they switched into their Aron anyway, so I was able to get rid of those status changes and bring Fumzy in to take care of the Aron a little bit here. Although the flamethrower burn, it's not working real well, so right now I'm going to go ahead and get Fumzy on out of there. Bring in Zelda. Zelda's a great revenge person. She can come in and pretty well handle most things that are out there with her wide coverage of moves. Zubat comes in. She's locked into Earthquake, so we got to get Zelda out of there. Bring Fumzy in just as kind of death fodder at that point. Bandit comes in and gonna get taunted, so Scad was ready for the belly drum there. Gonna bring Blackabar in at that point. Gonna take a hard Brave Bird. At that point I'm gonna go for the Sucker Punch, but Scad was ready for that too. Gonna go for the Roost. So he's kind of been frustrated getting beat by us the last couple of weeks, so he came back with some strategies to take on some of our Pokemon. Our team has changed a little bit here though this week. Given that we've moved into a new area of the region, we're on a volcano, I figured I'd shake some things up. I added Fumzy and Spock, the Numel and Coughing, because, you know, the only volcanic area I could really think of in Pokemon was the Hoenn region area, and Mount Ember, I think is... No, that's not right. That's where Moltres is. But anyway, the volcano there in Hoenn. And in that area, you can catch like Numels and Coughings and things like that. And obviously, not restricting myself to that, but those are the kind of... I wanted to, you know, get some Pokemon in there that would kind of fit those roles anyway. And so I figured, you know, we're in this area, I'll add those kinds of Pokemon. I didn't want to just be like, from day one, have Fumzy on the team. But since we ended up with Volcano, it kind of made sense. So I figured I'd bring him on. Zelda's going to do some good damage to Florence there, but such low defenses thanks to the close combats that Zelda's going to go out. That leaves me with Toadette versus Florence and the Numel there. Going to get the Spore up on Florence. Going to get the toxic damage, or the toxic heal going, rather, with the Leech Seed going. So we get ourselves back up to full health there. Scad decides he doesn't want to mess with that, so he brings in the Numel at that point, hoping to get rid of Toadette quickly. The Flame Charge is not going to be enough to kill, and unfortunately not going to be enough speed either to get Numel the first attack. Or no, I guess it was. Yeah, that was the same turn. So, I mean, he was able to get the Flame Charge off, but we were able to kill him that turn, and so that worked out pretty nicely for us. Then Florence is forced back in, does wake up, but doesn't really have anything to combat Toadette, apparently. It doesn't have the Hidden Power Ice or anything like that on it, so not able to take down Toadette. So a very close battle to start us off today against our good friend Scad. Ace Trainer Scad up there on the volcano, I guess. Yeah, thank you so much, Scad, for putting together the cool team. Some fun Pokemon in there that you don't get to see real frequently. A nice little hodgepodge. So I appreciate the continued support on this series. I really, really do. And let's check out what the rest of you guys brought us this week. Here we go. Alrighty, guys, welcome back to battle number 2 on Pokemon Showdown Gray version. I went up against a Nougat, I guess is what we'll say. And he had a very cool Fire Breather team put together here, a nice random combination of Pokemon. He brings in his Coughing there. I'm going for the Will-O-Wisp. I threw up the Pain Split there, not really knowing what Coughing is going to do, so I kind of just hang in there. I was mainly thinking that potentially he was going to do a switch into one of his fire Pokemon, expecting that again, but he didn't, and so we were able to get the burn off, but Coughing exploded there. I'm assuming Explosion is special, but it did pretty little damage to Fumzy, so I guess that's fine. Big Mac Makuhita comes in, gets the burn. Nougat said that he had Guts, so it wouldn't have actually cut his attack. So we just get really lucky that Fumzy has amazing defenses and withstood that bullet punch there. Brought Blackabar in, honestly, just not really even thinking, because Fennekin is not Psychic type yet, and Blackabar is very much Poison type, so setting up the Hone Claws as we would normally need to in order to make him especially effective wouldn't have been possible, seeing as just finished up throwing up that Psyshock before I brought him in. So that was a little dumb on my part. But it ended up working out okay. Skeletor comes in, gets the Aqua Jet off on Spock. but Spock's going to have enough left in him to take care of Skeletor, so that works out very nicely. Then the Gibble comes back in, takes care of Spock with that Earthquake. At this point, Zelda's going to come in, Zelda's going to throw up that Ice Punch, 4 times effective, takes down Sharmu there, no trouble at all. Little lizard dude, the Charmander, comes in at that point, going to bring in Toadette. I was locked into Ice Punch with Mankey, so I needed to get him out of there. Didn't want to get her out of there. Didn't want to waste her, given that I didn't know if Toadette or Bandit could really handle it on their own. Figured I might need Zelda in the back there. So get the Spore up and the Leech Seed up. Not going to be enough. Not going to be enough health recovery each turn to combat the burn. Unfortunately, and the Giga Drain doesn't do a whole lot. So I think with both those combined, we're barely hanging on. And then Charmander, after the Power Up Punch, goes for the Outrage there. At this point, I kind of gamble that Zelda is faster than Charmander. Zelda's speed is 17. Charmander's max speed before before boosts and things is 17 as well. So I figured, worst case scenario, we speed tie. And so I brought Zelda in at that point as opposed to trying to bring Bandit in, and was able to finish it off. So yeah, thank you so much, Nougat, for the battle this week. I greatly appreciate it, especially as a newcomer. We got a newcomer in here, which is awesome. Love seeing the same guys every week, but it's awesome when we can bring new people into the fold here. And they really seem to enjoy this particular challenge. A very cool little team there. Changed into the fire breather skin and everything. So very cool. Thank you so much, Nougat. Let's check out what the rest of you guys had for us this week. Here we go. Alright guys, battle number 3, and we went up against Mac, Arctic Animal, and he had a very interesting team here. Darumaka and friends going on. Brought in Toadette, and they brought in Clamps. They get the burn up with that first Scald, which is unfortunate. So Toadette can't use Poison Heal and is going to continue to take burn damage. I think that's the second time this week that's happened, so that's unfortunate. We get the Leech Seed up on the Volbaby thing, and then we bring in Fumesy, who's going to take that Aerial Ace. Gonna go for the Will-O-Wisp here, but they predict that. Bring in the Sleeping Darumaka, so either way it wouldn't have really done anything. Bring Fumesy out, bring Spock in. Darumaka's still asleep, but it wakes up here on the first turn, gets a good brick off on Spock. But Spock's able to land the Ancient Power, and then we get so lucky that we get the roll and happen to get the stat raises from Ancient Power. So that's kind of awesome. It does, I felt kind of bad about it, but it does set up a sweep. So Spock is going to be able to do some good work here against, actually Spock I guess single-handedly kills this entire team, because he killed the Darumaka and every other subsequent Pokemon. But yeah, that was just bad luck on Mac's part. I even misclicked there and went for Lava Blast instead of Earth Power or whatever, and unfortunately for him, the Rock Blast, he didn't get very good rolls, and he only hit twice, and so he wasn't able to kill. And yeah, those stat boosts are, when you get every one of your stat boosted, that's useful in Little Cup. It's hard to get past that. So I do feel bad about the sweep, but you know, hey, it works. Thanks for the battle, Mac. I really do appreciate the continued week-to-week support. And let's check out what you guys have. We got 2 more battles, I think, so let's check them out. Here we go. Alrighty guys, here we are with Red Wolf, and Red Wolf leads off with Bunnelby, who's going to go ahead and wreck Spock. Not going to be fast enough to get off those rocks against the Bunnelby. Toadette comes in and sets up the Spore on Magby, and Magby is going to sit there asleep with the Leech Seed on as I bring Toadette out, bring Zelda back in, or not back in, but bring Zelda in. Zelda gets the close combat off. We do get burned as a result of that, which is unfortunate. But Missile's going to come in, so we're going to bring Fumesy in. He sets up the Sword Dance, and we are going to set up, we're going to throw the Will-O-Wisp up to get, cut his attack a bit there. And then he's going to switch out before we could clear Smog away the Sword Dance as well. But the Ant Cub is going to take that. So he's kind of doing some switching here. We get the burn off on the Aron then. Pretty much his entire team is physically attacking, so throwing up those Will-O-Wisps is not really a risk at that point. Fumesy uses the flamethrower, which does surprisingly little to the steel type Auron, but we keep at it and Auron goes down there. So then Chicken comes in, uses the Zen Headbutt, Fumesy survives that, and he lands the Will-O-Wisp, so that works out pretty nicely. But with the Sandstorm damage, we're definitely not going to survive that next Acrobatics, which is going to leave Zelda to come in. I'm banking on Zelda being faster than Chicken, and since she's burned, it's not really a big deal if we lose her at that point, so I figured I'd bring her in to do as much damage as she could. But again, Burn and Sandstorm is going to be able to take Zelda out there after a hard Acrobatics. We are able to set up the belly drum here with Bandit though, and Bandit is going to be able to use the Seed Bomb here on the Ant Cub, take him out. And then Bunnelby comes in, we're going to get the Extreme Speed off, kill it. In Little Cup, it's really hard to withstand 4 times attack, even if it's not a super effective move. That's hard to do. I think Fumesy did it a little earlier, but other than that, it's a difficult one. They land the Acrobatics there, but Bandit manages to hang on with 1% health and get things going there. So another sweep-ish type victory there. Sorry! It's funny though, some people have come prepared for, I think Scad had come prepared, no belly drum on Bandit, he used Taunt and things like that. So I change up a couple of Pokemon week to week as we go into new areas and things like that, but you know, some of these Pokemon seem to be working, so we'll keep them going, and you guys can figure out strategies to defeat them, I guess. But yeah, anyway, thank you Red Wolf for the battle this week. Let's check out our last one for today. Here we go. Alrighty guys, our last battle today is up against Tyrion, and they led off with their Numel just as we did. And I'm really happy that both Red Wolf and Tyrion's battles I'm able to show them to you today. The replay servers had been down all week. I had to record some of the battles like immediately after doing them. Like the first 2, I think, Scad and I forget who was the second one there. It was a new guy, Nougat. Nougat. We had to record theirs immediately after doing the battles because the replay servers were down. We couldn't save the replay links, and I was a little bit worried with all of that going on that I wouldn't be able to pull up the links that we had already saved. I was worried that those links would be broken then, that the replays wouldn't have been saved anymore. But they were, which is awesome. So we do have Red Wolf and Tyrion's battles, as they were earlier in the week before the servers got DDoSed and all that. So really happy about that. Darmaka comes in, takes out Fumesy. Fumesy goes down. The Fiend. Blackabar comes in and sets up the Hone Claws and is going to be able to drill run Darmaka and Larva. Ooh, yeah, the Larvesta taking half damage from the rocks thanks to its 4 times weakness to rock types. And Blackabar is able to finish it off with the drill run. So a fun little battle there, finishing off with our starter. Thank you, Neron, and everybody else who participated this week. Especially a special thanks. You know, love that people are coming back week to week. But it was great to see Nougat pop in there as a new contender. That was awesome. Love to see new people popping in all the time. As much as I appreciate the return business of but these guys, Neron and Red Wolf and Scad and everybody else who comes back week in, week out to do the battles, I can't tell you how much I appreciate that. But it's great to get new people in there as well, so I want to call him out. And if you guys feel free to join, again, link down in the description to get to Pokemon Showdown. It's a free battle simulator. Jump on in there. The times and days for next week's battles will be in the description down below. But before we get to that, we have to figure out what our next battle is going to be. So let's jump on over to the spreadsheet, shall we? Here we go. Alright guys, here we are back at the spreadsheet. We've got to first start with our encounter type as always, so let's plug in 6. We get number 1, which is another rival battle. Okay, so this will be our second rival battle of the series. As always, so the tier is going to be Little Cup because the rule that we're going with at this point is every battle you do up until it will be the same tier as the next gym. So since our next gym is also Little Cup, we are doing Little Cup for the rival battle. You guys can have as many Pokemon as you would like. If you are a return battler, you don't have to use the same starter as you did. Your starter from episode... well, 1, I guess, technically episode 1, even though it was like the 3rd episode. You don't have to use that same starter on your team. If you want to, for continuity's sake, feel free. But nothing says you had to continue on with that Pokemon on your team. You could have replaced it at any point. But if you want to use the same starter you used in episode 1, feel free to, but you're welcome to have as many Pokemon on your team as you guys would like. Since episode 2, I've had 6 Pokemon on my team, so no reason that you have to have fewer than that if you don't want to. So yeah, we've got a rival battle in Little Cup, and that's pretty much all we need to define at this point, I think. Yeah, because the root type doesn't really matter for a rival battle at all. So yeah, anyway, there we go. So next week is going to be another rival battle. If you guys battled in episode 1 and you want to use the same starter, feel free to. But there's nothing that says you have to, and obviously if you weren't battling in episode 1 or you haven't battled yet, feel free to jump on in there. There's nothing that says, you know, since even the people who did battle in episode 1 need to use the same starter, there's no restriction on anybody for anything. Everybody's welcome. As I said before, we'd love having new people jump in here, so feel free to put your teams together. Obviously still going to be Little Cup. So make sure to build a Little Cup team with your for your rival battle. But yeah, anyway, that's all we should need. Again, excuse me. The times and days in the description down below. It's changed a little bit from last week. I think I'm cutting out, so by the end of Wednesday, I want to be able to record the episode. I think is what I wanted. Well, probably still do Thursday morning, I guess, because the end of Wednesday, if I wait till Wednesday afternoon or evening time slot, I'm not going to be able to record it anyway. But yeah, anyway, so times have changed and days have changed a little bit maybe. Try and get in earlier in the week if you can. If you have, again, if you guys have difficulty getting in with the time slots allowed and you want to participate, let me know in the comments down below and we'll make some exceptions for you. Because I want everybody to have a chance to get in here if they have a desire to do so. So those are just kind of, those are the times I'll probably be around. Sometimes it'll be a couple minutes on either end or whatever that you may have to wait. And things like that. So make sure to check that out. I did also, special note, I changed the room that we're going to be in. The Battle Dome room ended up, when I picked it out, it was one of the slowest rooms that I saw on Showdown. It's actually become pretty active, and I don't want our people to be clogging that up. Those people have got their roleplay thing going on, or it's a tabletop sort of text-based adventure game. And I don't want to be clogging up what they're doing in there. I only picked it because it was one of the lower populated rooms. I was like, well, we won't be bothering anybody in there. So we are moving to the social media room. Now that's where I will be. Also, you can just obviously search Old Man Tortoise in the Find a User tab. But if you need to find me in a room, I will be in the social media room, which is for YouTube and Twitter and things like that. So since I'm a YouTuber, I figured that's probably the most appropriate place to be, and it was one of the few lower populated rooms at the time that I was checking, so I feel like that should probably work out pretty well. So find me in the social media room or just search Old Man Tortoise. All that information is in the description down below, and I will see you guys starting tomorrow for our rival battle. Looking forward to it a lot, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. I've been Tortimer the Gray, and you guys have been great. Make sure to leave those likes, comments, and subscriptions for me, guys, and I'll see you all back here next time. Have a good one.